And thank you so much for coming in Jim's honor. I've got a number. Let's have a toast to Jim.
To Jimmy.
We had background music going a little bit earlier. It was the Fleetwood Mac's Greatest Hits. It was a CD album that I happened to find at his house this past weekend. Is at the top of the pile. Thought it might be pretty appropriate, so we had that going. Just a few other things here. If you could sign in. Jim's mother asked that we get your name and address if you are willing, and she would like to acknowledge the people who are here. So she's down in Arizona right now, and so if you want to put your name, address, phone number, email, you can put that all there. I guess before I go any further, I want to introduce Jim's father, Tom Couling. Raise your hand back there, Mr. Couling. And his wife, Diane. Jim's father and stepmother. And I know we've got all kinds of people here from different parts of his life. I understand that Jim was cremated. He's not buried yet anywhere, so that's yet to be determined, so we can't let you know anything about that. As I say, I did talk to his mother, and she's happy that we're getting together, and his father too, and I'm glad that you could be here tonight with us. So at one point, I'll ask people, or if people are willing to just talk about Jim, if you've got an anecdote or something you'd like to share that might help us know Jim a little bit better from a different point of view, please feel free to talk about that. And also, we'd like to get a group photo of everybody. So before we leave, if we, maybe right before, we're going to have a slideshow here. So right before this 4-minute show, maybe we can get everybody together and get a photograph. And I guess what I'd like to say right now, before we all scatter what happens, I just want to thank Scott Johnson. Scott, raise your hand for helping put this thing together. Carrie Bone. I don't know how to pronounce it. Okay, Bone. Carrie Bone put together the program, the show you're going to see in a minute. And Kelly Jackson, where'd Kelly go? Kelly helped, and who am I missing?
Sandy. Jackson. And everybody sent in pictures.
Yeah, everyone who sent in pictures, thank you very much. And also, I received an email from Chip Walters today, and he's out of town on business, and he tried to curtail his trip and couldn't do it, so he said be sure and say hi and let everybody know he wished he could be here. So I guess at this point, why don't we get back against that wall, we'll get a quick group photograph, then we're going to show the show, and then after that, if anybody has things they'd like to share, we'll do that.
And at UMD, everybody called me Mud Snark. That was an unfortunate nickname. Sort of stuck. I think most of us remember the movie Woodstock, right?
Yeah.
Anybody remember a band called 10 Years After?
Yeah.
They had a kind of a famous scene in the movie. Coming home? Yeah, Coming Home. And Alvin Lee had a hollow body, a Gibson guitar, and he had stickers all over, peace symbols, and all kinds of weird stickers that he always used to put on. Well, Cato POTUS right here. Cato called me up and said that he wanted to go see Alvin Lee play at the Caboose. And Claudia went, and Jimmy went, and I went, and we went there. It was kind of nostalgic. We were going to hear the old stuff that 10 Years After did from Woodstock. Well, about that time, Jim was making these really cool stickers and buttons. In fact, Kelly's got 2 of them on.
Be Cool Enterprises.
Yeah, Be Cool Enterprises. And they were glow-in-the-dark stickers, and he had one that was a peace symbol. He had a skull and crossbones, but he had a peace symbol in a glow-in-the-dark color. And, we're kind of about halfway back in the crowd. And, Alvin Lee comes out, and they start, rocking out. And Jim had these stickers, and he wanted to give one. I'm like, shit, let's give it to him. So we peel it off, and Jim's got the sticker on his thumb. And he's walking up, he's working his way through the crowd, and he gets up to the stage, and he's holding it up, and Alvin Lee grabs it and slaps it on his guitar. That was pretty cool. has a Be Cool sticker on his gibbets.
And I still have Alvin Lee's pick from that show.
That's right.
All right.
Stories.
How about Jimmy? I got a lot of stories. I have one that would last a really long time, but it was one of my favorite memories of Jimmy. One spring break, Jimmy and I hitchhiked to Arizona. We were gone for 10 days. 7 of it was on the road, so we actually had 3 days in Arizona. One of our stops was to see Tom Green at the Air Force Academy, where we got invited in for lunch. We also got picked up by some groupies that were going to a Beach Boys concert at Tempe Stadium, which we ended up working the concert, making some money because we actually left Minnesota with $50 in cash and maybe $50 in food stamps. And actually, Oldie gave us a ride to Faribault that got us our start.
Host a lot of parties, and Jim showed up along with about a third or half of this crowd, at most of them. And I'm proud to say that I partied with Jim for over 40 years.
38.
I got pictures. I got pictures of Jim. Go back in the 70s, and I had the opportunity to actually sit down and have a meal with Jim the first weekend in December of this year at a party again. And got the chance to do what Jim and I always did, which was have a beer and make a little small talk and laugh a little bit and enjoy the conversation going on around. Jim was always a great listener and a good guy. But yeah, 40 plus years of ongoing socialization and having a beer together. What a great guy. Great guy, Jim.
Yeah, I may
Had that great smile.
Yep.
I may add something also, not a story yet, but...
Who are you?
Huh?
Don't worry.
Well, I'm Scott Johnson.
Hey.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. I brought a scanner here. I know in the solicitation that went out on the email that we were going to have this, it said, if you have some pictures, bring them. And if you have them, I can scan them. You can take them home with you, and we can send them out. So if anybody happens to bring anything with them, just come see me.
Credit cards.
Yeah.
Anything you want.
To smile or have a laugh. I still do it, but Jim didn't think it was funny. That's why I thought it was funny. But we had a baseball team in college, Hammy's Hot Nuts. We were Jim was he was an outfielder at this time. He was going for a pop-up ball. So, I got it, and it missed his glove and hit him right in the eye. But, and everyone knows Jim as being a pretty easygoing guy, but I just could not stop laughing. And it's one of those things where he was hurt, but still, it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. I actually did my brain, but was he angry that I couldn't stop laughing? And he started chasing me around. I didn't know what to do because the more angry he got, the more I laughed. He didn't talk to me for a week after that. We got over it. Well, I liked it. And he had a big shiner.
Ready?
I got one. I'm from the Sherwood Forest neighborhood, and Jim. First time we got to know Jim was at a neighborhood walk around. We do this holiday walk around Christmas thing, and we go to people's houses, and we all drink too much. It's just part of the deal. And it was the first year of the walk around, and it was a small group. I think it was 12 people or 14 people. So it was a very small group. But Jim had just moved in, and he had bought his childhood home. I think it was his childhood home, yeah. And we went to, his house was the second. I think Patrick, yours was the first that year, wasn't it?
Yep.
And we went down to Jim's house, and he's showing us his house and talking about it. He said, "You got to come look at this." And he had this little one of the closets. He had opened it up, and he said, "Look down there." And he had, when he was a kid, I don't know, maybe 6 years old, he had written his name in magic marker on the door, and it was still there to this day. After he moved in, after all those years. Yeah. So anyway, that was my.
Was that the house where he had the mini version of Stonehenge?
That's it.
No, I remember him telling me about it. He's like, "What can I do with this?" And I'm like,
Well, he couldn't tear it down because
no,
it's so reinforced with rebar and all that stuff that no matter what he tried, he didn't want to have it.
Owner did that.
No.
Previous owner did? Yeah. This house was cool.
Can I just say, I just think that's such a compliment.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah,
It's like
that
taller
wanted
than
to buy
it's
it.
huge. Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, I think
How many do they have? How many different?
Oh my God,
Just
that's
one.
the last
Just one. It looked like.
So that says a lot about it.
Yeah.
Well, it is the neighborhood.
My name is Greg. Excuse me, Greg Malone. And I knew Jim since he was born, basically. I grew up in that Sherwood Forest neighborhood. Jim and I were childhood friends, went to grade school, high school, junior high. And then we were talking one day, what are we going to do for college? Well, if we go sign up right now, we'll get C-118, we'll get a room with a sink in college. So we did, we went and signed up, and then we met Paul and Kelly and Scotty and everybody up there. And then next year we moved into the Mobilis together.
Right.
Kelly, Paul Winters, and Jim and I.
Winter palaces.
Yeah, Kelly, where are you?
I lived in the lead end with Greg.
Yeah.
Jim was in the messy end with Kelly.
So I knew Jim for a very long time, and I'm heartbroken that he's gone, and I just want all of us to keep in touch with each other, and if somebody's sick, let us know so that we can help support. Yeah. Rita?
Did you finish?
Yes. Yeah, that's good.
Who in this room remembers being at Mr. Cooling's home on Harrison's Band, Lake Minnetonka, and we went water skiing at night?
Oh,
Not all they did.
You were probably skiing barefoot.
did that once. No, not barefoot. No.
At night? Why not?
Here it is.
Gary, those are recreational.
I'm trying to disguise some of this stuff, but Jim and I used to do a lot of fishing together in the mid-'80s. Fished around Lake Calhoun and never really caught anything. We decided we'd step up our game and do a camping trip to the Temperance River and fish along the river there, spinners, the whole thing. So we went up there and found this great place in the middle of trees overlooking the river down below, and it was rushing water, and just a beautiful spot. Somewhere, somehow, a couple of tablets fell out of somebody's pocket. And I want to say exactly what they are. Oh, it was acid. Okay. Okay. So,
Jerry, this was 2 years ago.
I took those tablets, tried to fish, and just comedy there. I caught my spinner on a rock and was yanking at it, and the thing came off and took me a beeline shot right to my head. I fell on the ground. Jim just starts laughing and trying to keep the things away. And,
Well, you got some pictures, though, right?
There's no concrete evidence here. It's plausibly deniable. So anyway, fast forward, all of a sudden a big storm blows in off of Lake Superior. Clouds come, rain comes right away, thunder. So we're paranoid as hell, not sure we want to stay here. So let's go in the tent. So we're in there like 5 minutes. And, Jim can't handle it. We got to get out of this tent because something's going to happen bad. Let's go into your car. He started to rip it up. I don't want to run out in the rain. Come on, let's better go. So we go in my car, and the storm continues. And he falls asleep within about 10 minutes, and I can't sleep at all because of the substance that I had ingested. And all I ended up swatting mosquitoes. They were like imaginary ones going in my ear. And one time there was a smell like rotten meat. I couldn't look at it later. I found out those were Jim's socks. So anyway, so we get up in the morning and he goes back to the campsite to check things out. I'm still climbing out of the car. He goes, "Paul, get over here." So I walk over there, and here's a birch tree laying smack dab on the tent. We both probably would have been killed as a result. So it was a smart thing. I owe him my life. That was the only time he took acid. It was my oldest son.
Okay. The very next year, Carrie and Jim and I can't remember who Jim's friend was. His name. Maybe he's in this room. We did the same trip up the river, and I had bought my wife a brand new Ford Aerostar for Mother's Day. Of course, the trip was like 2 weeks after that. And I think the Aerostar I think it was our third child, so we decided to get the sliding door and brand new Aerostar. Of course, I had the little sedan. I said, well, it's my turn to drive. Can I take the new van, Aerostar van, up the North Shore to the fishing trip? And reluctantly, my wife said, yeah, that's okay. And Carrie and Jim and I and Jim's friend, he might be in here, I'm not sure. But anyway, we went up the North Shore and we got up, but for whatever reason, we left in the morning. We ended up right at the Temperance River. It was real early. It was 4:30 in the morning. We decided, well, let's get down there early. This is how the thing. So we obviously had partied all the way up, and we decided to change because there was nobody around except for all the cars were parked from people camping. So we got out of all our clothes and were dressing in our fishing gear, and then we realized there was two young girls sleeping in the car watching us. So that's how the day started. So anyway, now keep in mind this is a brand new Aerostar for my wife and our 3 children. So on the way in one of the trips to go wherever we were, we ended up with a burn hole about this big in the back seat of the car.
From what?
I'll say it was from
cigarettes, right?
No, it must have been a cigar or something. But anyway, I remember nobody would admit to who burnt the hole in the car, and then I had to go home to my wife and 10 years later, Jim was saying, tell me that story about the story about the hole in the back seat.
It was him?
I think it was Jim. I can blame him now. He can't defend himself, so I'm blaming Jim.
I'm pretty sure it was him.
Just take a lesson, guys.
But all we did is laugh the whole weekend.
You're going to get blamed for a lot of stuff.
I love hearing all these stories. I just get the honor again. I'm one of the neighborhood people. This kind of is us over here. And Jim had this quiet energy and was always there.
Always a smile on it.
Always a smile. I said to my husband, I'm like, how can I describe the smile? Because he was always there. And this is our golf outing this year, and I know you all saw these pants in the slideshow, and you all want them. So Jim and I were talking, and I'm like, yeah, he's like, these are from high school. And I'm like, you can fit in your pants from high school? I was a little jealous. I'll admit it. But I mean, even in the walk around, when we did these walk arounds, he would come in his Santa outfit, and he would keep our buckthorn intact in the neighborhood, keep us all on task. He has given us some great things to live by, and I know we're going to keep those going. And we will do a memorial in the neighborhood for him. We've talked about it, and we will miss him. But when we walk by Stonehenge, we will think of him. We will miss you. And all of these memories that you've all shared here today, it's great. We are very happy to be touched by Jim, and Jim. Cheers. You find it? You found those pants and